The name of the game is playing really, really good baseball in late May.
We have a motto here that, little things become big things. And if we can take care of those little things, I think we're going to be all right.
We got to bring your expectations are high, and this is kind of what we're used to. This is how I was introduced to Middle Township basketball.
I miss being on the sidelines. I miss everything what high school football is all about. I think it's the greatest sport.
It's not a walk in the park going through our league.
And the message is simple. We want to win a state championship.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Cal 101 right here on Cape Atlantic Live, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. I'm your host, Nick Kosko, and with me today to continue our 2024 summer football preview series is Atlantic City head coach Keenan Wright. Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks for joining. I got to imagine you guys are preparing pretty well after a successful campaign in 2023, but things might be looking up even more so here this coming fall.
Yes. Very excited about the direction of the program, especially for the 24 season. We have a lot to build on. We have some quality guys coming back too.
6-5 last year, made it to the Central Jersey Group 5 quarterfinal round of last year. Tough end of the season last year, Coach, after a hot start. When you look back at 2023, not to harp on, of course, last fall all year long, because, of course, you want to move on to 2024. But when you look at the end of last season, what quite went wrong? What was different from the first half of the season? And how do you plan to rectify that this coming season?
Well, I mean, Nick, this isn't an Atlantic City issue, but every team goes through it. Injuries was a big thing for us towards the end of the year. We had a couple guys that were, a little hobble going into that last stretch. Washington Township, the saying goes like you can't let a team beat you twice, and they end up beating us 3 times. So that was something that was a tough stretch for us. The kids were really down about, not making it past that first round, as we did the previous year. But, football doesn't work that way. It owes you absolutely nothing. You give it everything, it owes you nothing. But I think that our offseason this year has been ramped up a little bit. That's probably one of our strengths. So I'm looking forward to what we bring to the table this year.
So speaking of that offseason, you just mentioned that it's been ramped up. What exactly did you ramp up? Was it more strength and conditioning in the offseason in terms of the weight room program, just getting guys on the same page? I know a lot of your guys also are multi-sport athletes as well. What was the offseason like for you once you guys went into the winter and eventually the spring?
This will be my 5th year coming up, and I don't think we've had any more buy-in than this year. I have a really good coaching staff, especially my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Buddy Mancuso. He does a great job with it. We have great facilities here at Atlantic City High School, and kids are just bought in early. We have a thing after the Thanksgiving game. See you in the weight room tomorrow. So it's Thanksgiving, and we open the weight room the next day. That's how it works. But this time, the kids actually came in, and we've been building momentum ever since. Even though we have a lot of kids playing multiple sports, it's just a part of our culture. The weight room is a cultural incubator. And you can see with mainland success the last couple of years, it came to historic season last year, and those kids lift. I mean, it's evident. It's in the games they played, and they bought in. I like to think that our strength going in this season is how good our offseason was this year or is going. So I'm excited about that.
So when you see that buy-in, you mentioned going into year 5, how the buy-in is better than it's ever been. What did you guys do anything different throughout the season and leading into it, or did it just finally click for your guys and the guys you've coached over the last few years?
The guys we've coached over the last couple of years, but the games that we lost, they were lost up front. Washington Township started leaning on us towards the end of the game. Mainland, like they did everybody, just started leaning on you in the second half. And, and the kids, it doesn't take much for them to see it. Like, all right, listen, we need to bulk up a little bit. We need to work a little bit harder in the weight room. We need to give a little bit more. So that really was it. We didn't have to do anything. We just turn on the film. We have speed. We've always had speed. Mm-hmm. Now we have to bring another element to the game in order to win those late games late in the year.
when you talk about speed, I mean, I go back to when I played high school football as well. And then Atlantic City, always known for their speed. You got track stars over the field. And, once one guy gets the ball, you let him get 3 yards of space. It's pretty much it's a touchdown pretty much every play. And you guys definitely highlighted that, especially earlier in the season. So for the viewing and listening audience out there, Joe Lyons was a great quarterback for you guys last year. Plan now at the position, open competition, guys that we should know about. What's the plan at the most important position on the offense?
Open competition.
All right. We could just leave it at that. And again, whenever you guys do figure it out, you'll be displayed for sure.
We have some guys in mind. Obviously, you can't replace 2,500 yards like that. Joe Lyons, very accurate passer of the football. He's going to be missed dearly. We have some guys that can do some things with the football a little bit different from Joe.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to add some different things to the offense.
So one guy I wanted to hit on, I know he's been getting a lot of fanfare as of late here in South Jersey, Sinai DeGraffenreich, one of the best receivers in the state of New Jersey, certainly in South Jersey among a bunch of other Division I guys that are now getting picked up from this area. But he just committed to Rutgers within the last month or two. He is a guy that's looked at across the entire crop of Cape Atlantic teams and, of course, the entire West Jersey Football League. What has his development been like since he's come into the program, and especially now going from his junior year last year into his all-important senior year here in 2024?
Sinai, first and foremost, he's a great kid. Very quiet for those that know him, to himself, came in as a running back. But he was displaying things his freshman into his sophomore year that, like, hey, we can throw this kid the ball too. So we made that move to put him at wide receiver his sophomore year. And, as they say, the rest is history. I mean, I've never seen ball awareness that he had at such a young age. He was doing a lot of this at 15 years old. And the thing that makes him a little bit different, he's a running back once he catches the ball. So all that experience comes into play, and you got to get him to the ground. He's 200 pounds. So this past weekend we're at Rutgers for a 7-on-7, and he just makes spectacular plays look routine. He and more importantly too about him, he loves the game. He's an excellent practice player, and he's an even better teammate. You see him coaching up guys on the side. He's somebody that junior going into senior year, like he knows, like he's excited about his opportunity at the next level, but also he shows that he's still super excited about his senior year. It's easy for a kid to get ahead of themselves. Oh, I'm leaving anyway. It doesn't really matter. Like, he wants this senior year. Like, he wants it. So we're excited about that.
Right. And you talk about Sinai being a great dude. And then again, from what you've told me and what I've heard around the entire area, he's just a great kid. And again, a great football player as well. You talked about, I want to circle back to that buy-in from your entire team as soon as the season was over, especially right after Thanksgiving. Based on what you're telling me about Sinai, he must have been one of those guys, one of the leaders that embodied what you were talking about. Just, hey, head down, we're going to go to work and we're going to get better. And again, a guy playing, who was originally a running back, now playing wide receiver. That physicality is probably something you're looking forward to from him to be essentially, it's going to go throughout the entire team, I should say. He will lead by example in that regard.
Yes. When he's in the weight room, like, the place it's a different energy in there. Like, you see kids going just a little bit harder. Here's a kid who all those offers and all that stuff, but he's in there and he's working. They're the young kids are, I'm the next cup. I'm going to be Ice Cup. I know you're going to be you. You're going to be the next. You're going to be the first you. Because he is. I mean, he's one of one. But he definitely changes the room when he walks in it. So.
He's a guy who does change the room, and there are other guys out there on other teams, and it seems like the talent in South Jersey. I like to ask all these coaches about this because South Jersey is still a hotbed in the terms of New Jersey high school football, and you're seeing more Division I attention outside of the Rutgers and Penn States and Syracuse. You look at Lazier Brooks over in Millville; he's going to Alabama. Braswell Thomas, I just mentioned Penn State, but he from Lower Cape May to Pleasantville. Now he's going to Penn State next year as well. When you look at the talent, especially at the wide receiver position, we've seen the Meltons before that as well. When you look at the talent in this area, Has it always been like this, or are you noticing something a little bit different over the last 4 to 5 years in terms of how these guys are developing at a faster level and getting more national recognition?
Well, I mean, I graduated high school in 1998. I went to Cameron Catholic High School. Our division, we played against Pennsauken. They had Howard Clark. He went to Miami. Overbrook had Ron Dane. Everybody knows who he was. Woodrow Wilson had a bunch of guys. I just think Jersey in general, like, we just have tough, good football players. I mean, even though even back then it was basketball, we still have a ton of talent on that gridiron. As far as of late, as far as wide receivers, I think that's due to the nature of the game and the direction that it's going in. You know, it always starts in NFL, kind of works its way down. So you're talking about, heavy passing and spread offenses and whipping the ball around. So kids no longer look at, the running back as the position. A lot of them are looking at, wide receiver as a position to go for, as they see it's, guys getting paid at that, at the final level. So it kind of leaks down. So you got a lot of kids that are, I'm a slot. Like, oh, okay. Like everybody wants to be in that position that they see. So it's just the direction that the game is going in. In South Jersey, you talk about Latier Brooks and the kid that's over at Pleasantville now. Like, there's a lot of there's more, and there's going to continue to be more.
Some of the guys that stood out to me last year when I saw you guys in action a couple times, guys like Raul Cabrera and Peaky Roseboro as well. Among those guys and others, who are you looking at to really step up their game that were contributors last year, maybe that we haven't heard of, or you expect a lot more out of here to step up in those leadership roles, especially at the key positions here in 2024?
Well, Raul Cabrera for sure. You're gonna hear about him next year. Peaky Roseboro. He's also going to vie for that quarterback position. But on the defensive end, he's a high communicator. We talk about being a high communicator. On that back end as safety, he is that for us. And the possibility at quarterback, he is that for us as well. Him and Sinai grew up together and they played together all through Little League. He's a voice in the locker room because we tell the kids all the time, it's player-led teams win championships, not us. We can get you prepared and all that, but player-led teams win championships. Like, you guys have to take it on once you leave us. Roseboro, but a big void as well. A lot of people, I don't want to say missed on this kid, but Michael Jones, number one for us last year, was electric. Like, his last 2 years. That's a spot that, that's going to need some attention. And we have some young guys coming up that are going to fill that spot. Have a very good young group, very good 27 class coming in as sophomores, and they're going to make some noise the same way Sinai did, as a sophomore. That's definitely one of our strengths. We lost a lot on the back end. We lost 10 seniors. A lot of them on the back end of the defense, but those young guys are going to fill those spots, led by Peaky.
When you look at the excitement around this program, and again, the record didn't really necessarily reflect what you guys could have done last year, but again, the results speak for themselves on the other, to play devil's advocate, and plus you guys were banged up. Tough stretch at the end of the season, but you guys are in a pretty good division this year after the realignment, and it just so happens that we've already talked to a handful of coaches in this division, so it's you, Holy Spirit, Hamilton, Cedar Creek, and Ocean City in this Constitution division. I think the general consensus, it seems like you like the competitive division, but also you see some of the local teams again more often than they did in the years past, while still having those other crossover games where maybe you're going a little further west towards the other county as well. What do you make of the new division here this season?
I mean, it's a sign of respect. It's a reward for your success. I mean, I'm flattered by that. I think I said that to somebody before. I'm flattered by the opponents that we're going to have this year. The kids are up for it. We forget about that. You lay out a schedule, like kids, like the kids have to be up for it too. It can't just be us, carrying the torch there. Our crossover games, Cherokee, Millville, like, right. These are juggernauts, and I really, like, it's not going to take much to get the kids up for these games. Like, this is a schedule. It is every game, regardless of the schedule, it's week to week, and you have to be prepared for every single opponent. But this schedule, I think, is a sign of respect and a good, and a compliment to our program and where we are right now.
I like that you guys do get up. And I know it's coach speak, but I like the fact that you guys do get up every week and you look at the schedule. It's like, we don't have to give you extra motivation for that game. And I think there's definitely the opening game of the schedule at Battle of the Beach is one you do not have to get up for. It's going to be, you guys are going to be ready. You're probably ready for it right now, or getting ready for it right now. Defending state champion, Mainland at Battle of the Beach, Ocean City on that Thursday, right in the afternoon, 12:45, at least as of the last schedule. You look at that game. You mentioned before how that was one of the tougher games you guys played last year, but Mainland showed what they could do throughout the entire state last year. Just went on an unbelievable run. They bring back a lot of guys, but when you saw that game come out first and be the leadoff game for 2024, was that one of those games where you're just like, you know what, we're going to put a countdown on the on the whiteboard and get ready for this starting the day after Thanksgiving?
Oh, immediately. We don't talk about any other team. We don't talk about any other team on the schedule. Our singular focus is Mainland. The Battle by Beach is going to be a great venue, going to have a great crowd. Mainland has become a rival. It has been in the past, but more so as of late, on the basketball court and for football. So a lot of respect for Chuck and that coaching staff and the job that they're doing over there. The program that they've built. It's going to be a game, and that's the only thing we're talking about. We're not people. That's for everybody else to talk about the schedule and what's going on down the line. But no, it's only Mainland. That's it.
Man, August 29th. I can't wait for that one. A couple more for you. Head coach Keenan Wright with me here on Cal One-on-One, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. Coach, you're going into year 5. I'm curious about yourself right now and what you've learned throughout your tenure so far leading this program. Atlantic City, very proud program, a lot of history behind it, especially with the youth programs coming up. I know there's a lot of local rivalries. You just mentioned Mainland. I know there's a rivalry with Holy Spirit that dates back on Thanksgiving for such a long time as well. You've gone through an entire senior class now at this point, now going into year 5. So the clock kind of resets, but you still have some of the guys carrying over as well. When you look at your tenure so far, what are the biggest lessons that you learned as a head coach and what you think you've improved on with yourself as well as with your staff to keep this program on the rise?
All the things that I've been taught in my life from Little League all the way up to now is you can't do it alone. You can't, especially a high school football program. It takes everybody. It takes the parents and the parent huddle club, every single coach, every single volunteer coach, every teacher in the building, custodian, security. We've seen from other programs, the success comes when everybody buys in. And if I can be somebody that can bring everyone in, be that conduit, that's what kind of breeds success. So, over the past 4 years, going into year 5, I think that's the biggest thing. Because I wanted to jump right in. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But win each day at a time. It is a coaching cliche, but win the day. How do we win today? Take your wins where you get them. We had a weight room yesterday, maxing out deadlifts. That was a win. Take that win. It's not all, down to, your record at the end of the year. There's a lot of things that factor into your success, what kids are doing after they graduate, being having open arms for those kids to come back, work out, whatever they need to do, just being part of a bigger picture, bring everybody together. So so over the last few years, I've tried to give more responsibility around, but ultimately it falls on me. But just to, win each day at a time. Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Well, that's a great perspective of a veteran coach now at this point, and that's just you're putting your time in, and then the program looks really good. Watched you guys last year, loved it. Can't wait to see you guys again here in 2024. So appreciate the time, Coach. Good luck this season. Looking forward to seeing what you guys can do on the field. I'm sure it's going to be one heck of a season here in 2024.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me on. Go Vikings.
Absolutely. This is Cal One-on-One right here on Cape Atlantic Live, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. Check out the rest of our podcasts on the YouTube channel, Cape Atlantic Live, and follow us on social media as well. We'll see you next time.